Hi guys, this is Carrie. You're watching A Crone's Life. Welcome. I'm so glad you came. I'm doing the 5 things that I'm loving right now, a VR to Marlena Teresa. Thank you so much for making this VR because it made me stop and think about all the things that I'm loving right now, and it's been so much fun. So, to start out with, since I'm right here, I am loving my new daily spread. It looks like it's a bit much, I bet, but I went from working with just a single card draw per day, meditating on it, drawing it, and then I wanted to expand it, and I was just going to go to 2 and try to do the same thing, but it just didn't work for me. Probably because I became more busy with my granddaughter, but for whatever reason, it took 6 months to get here, and this seems complicated, but it questions every part of my day, and it gives me so much information to write in my journal. I'm still not sketching and drawing like I would like to, but I haven't completely stopped doing it, so everything's great. So don't know what all you can see because my setup is weird. But I have a deck over here. This is the Self-Love Tarot. This is new to my collection. And this card, the single card from the deck, represents who I am today. Then I have this deck, which is a plant deck. It's called Flora Healing. I got it off of Etsy, along with its sister decks. And this represents my day, the feel of the day, the vibe of the day, the things that I need to know going into my day. And then this is the Zammer Twins deck, and this card represents my path. And you know, that card doesn't always change. Sometimes I end up drawing the same card 3 days in a row, or you know, maybe there's a different card in between, but I get the same card pretty frequently with that deck. And let's see, I'll just show you the box that this one came in. I also got this off Etsy. Deviant Moon, Patrick Valenza, has his own shop on Etsy, so that's where I got that. And so this is my path. And that in itself, those 3 decks would really give me a lot of information to start with, to write about, to explore through each day. But because I really need questions to answer in my journal, I'm not very good at just, you know, word vomiting information. I have a 3-card spread down here that is the Sun and Moon Tarot. These change out every week. I do a different 4 decks. I change them out every Sunday. And this is the box. I got it on Amazon. It's US Games. But my 3-card spread changes. Today it's past, present, future. Tomorrow it might be soul, body, mind, body, spirit. Sometimes it's, well, I did one that was kind of silly the other day, but it worked really well. Red light, yellow light, green light, and you know, that's just stop what you're doing, be cautious about this, and go forward, accept, and move toward the 3rd. So that was really nice. And in this way, I really have a lot to talk about in my journal, and I'm taking up whole pages, which doesn't happen very frequently. Like, I'm not one of those heavy writers. I say heavy, I mean, you know, it's difficult for me to get feelings out, and writing especially. I'm better at talking things out, which is why I really enjoy this channel. Even if I have 2 people that watch my videos, I'm okay with that, because it's just about me getting things kind of out of my headspace. And this layout has really worked for me. And so this is probably the main thing that I'm loving right now. And it kind of surprised me that so many cards worked for me in this way. The second thing that I'm loving is my crochet. I'm going to insert some pictures of the projects that I've been working on. So my finished project, I have a granny ripple blanket that I was doing for Elena, and it sits on our couch so everybody uses it, but she really does like it. I mean, she's not like in love with it. She doesn't drag it around, but she does enjoy snuggling up next to it on the couch. So the granny ripple blanket is done. I'm working on a mandala, and it's supposed to be a shawl. It's called the Multivalent. I'm sorry, Shandy Aggie from Expression Fiber Arts puts out a free crochet and a free knitting pattern every Friday. If you get on her mailing list through Expression Fiber Arts, you will get a notification every Friday to go get your free pattern. And I would love to do knitting. Like, I can knit, I just don't feel as comfortable knitting as I do crochet. So I get both patterns, but I really just do the crochet pattern. This Multivalence was the most recent one, but I'm getting pretty far along, and it looks like it would make a really great pillow, like a round pillow. And I'm considering stuffing it, because the other thing that I'm really loving right now is singing mantras. And if I had a big mandala pillow, imagine I could just sit on the mandala pillow and sing my chants. It sounds so hippie, but I'm totally hippie, so that's absolutely, it's on brand for me. But for now, I'm going to continue with the pattern. I'm just going to do what the pattern says, and if I decide that I need a round pillow, I will do the pattern again and stop it when it gets to be the size that is perfect for a pillow. And hopefully I've had enough time to throw some pictures up of the blanket and the Multivalence. I'm trying to think if there was another pattern that I started. I'm actually working on a sugar skull. I'm not actively working on it. I want to be actively working. I have the skull part. I need to do all the designs, the eyes and the nose holes. And so that's going to be like more, what do you call it? Embroidery, maybe? Embellishment in an embroidery kind of way. So, so I have that to work on. I don't know if I'm taking it with me on our trip. I want to make these little amigurumi toys, and in my crochet, while we're traveling, I like to do small things so that I can get them done quickly. Like if we're driving for 4 hours or 6 hours, it'd be really cool to be able to almost completely finish something. And those little toys they work up pretty quickly. Piecing them together and putting the faces on them and things does take a little bit of time, but actually doing the crochet, I think I can get that done during the driving time. So that is crochet. I'm pretty sure I've covered all the crochet stuff. And then the other thing, what is it, the third thing is, I was talking about YouTube. So yeah, well, let's go straight to YouTube, because we were talking about the mandala blanket / pillow. So I have several YouTube channels that I'm just really in love with right now. My mantras are on a channel called Vibrant Kundalini, and I will link these in the description box below, of course. I'm also really enjoying Cinema Therapy. I don't know if you guys have ever watched that before, but basically there's two dudes. One is a psychotherapist, and the other is a director of movies. And they talk about movies that show mental illness or disorders, or sometimes it's a coming of age movie, and they discuss how realistic any of it is in the mental space. And one of the first episodes that I ever watched of theirs was Inside Out, and they discussed like puberty and how what the characters are going through is very real, and the reactions to trying to suppress sadness and things like that was very real. And I enjoy that kind of entertainment because it does make you think more about what's going on inside your head, and the way we do shadow work is to pull out those things that you've suppressed. So it's really informative, a lot of brain candy. And of course you end up applying it whether you think you are or not, to your situation. So I've been enjoying cinema therapy, and let's see, and of course all you guys, I've been watching A Riffle in Time with Cassandra, and let's see, Candy Soul and Soil, she did this 5 things that we're loving, and Robin's Reflections. Robin has been making quite a few more, at least I'm getting more of her videos for suggestions to watch, and that's been wonderful because I believe she and I have the same taste in decks, and it's so much fun to see that. A Crappy Childhood Fairy, she was covering were you ignored as a child, and what I've always told people and what I believe is that I did not have a bad childhood per se. I grew up mostly in the 80s, and I was a latchkey kid. From the time that I was in kindergarten, I can remember that we did not have babysitters, and we took care of each other. My oldest brother is 5 years older than me, so he was 10 when he was babysitting me. And from that point on, and everything she talked about as far as the reactions, the way you feel as an adult, how you have a tendency to exaggerate your feelings, or when you get sick you are always trying to really convince people that you're sick because perhaps no one listened to you when you were sick as a child, so you had to really try hard to tell them about something going on in your emotions or your feelings or your physical body. And I felt that that was really interesting, that all these kind of responses that I have to people, and what really makes me kind of weird or disassociated with close friendships or relationships. Of course my husband and I are tight, don't worry. but other relationships are kind of difficult for me to continue because I'm very self-reliant, and I don't like leaning on other people for emotional support. All of these things come from not having been listened to or treated with some kind of, you're not validated as a child. And again, I didn't have a bad childhood. It was just that perhaps my responses now are because of really just raising ourselves. And I have strong emotions, but they're hard to express or name even. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm feeling. I'm like, oh, that's different. But that's YouTube. And then TV is another, where I'm loving watching TV with my mom. And there's just not a whole lot of physical things she can do, so we don't go to the park like we used to. She likes dogs, so I used to take her to the dog park, and she could watch the dogs run around and play. And We can't do that anymore. And it's been raining a whole lot lately too, so even sitting in the car and watching people watching or animal watching or whatever isn't really fun because of the rain. But we are able to watch TV, and that's been really, really great. So we used to watch cartoons, and then we started watching Stranger Things, which that Stranger Things deck looks really good, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. Anyway, we couldn't watch Stranger Things because she was getting nightmares. So we switched to Bridgerton. We watched all of Bridgerton, so season 1 through season 3, and that was so much fun. She loves the colors, she loves the music, she loved the dancing. Bridgerton was a lot of fun. We probably won't watch season 4 because we're getting rid of Netflix. If that's the only thing I'm watching is Bridgerton on Netflix, it's not really worth the money, is it? So Netflix is going away, but I have HBO, so we've been watching His Dark Materials, and I have recently finished it up, and I loved it. I have read the books, and I didn't like the books as well as I liked the TV show, and one of the reasons why I had to redo this video was because I got really hyper and excited talking about the magnificence of the TV show and how brilliant the writers and producers were, or director was, to piece the story together in a different way than the books, because I truly just did not enjoy it as much. And I'm a book nerd. I really love books. I've read, tons of classic books, and there is a rhythm to a story, and you know it and you feel it. And I don't think that Philip Pullman did a great job with piecing his own story together, but the concept of the story was so great that it turned into this TV show, and it's a really, really good one. I mean, it's what I like. So, and I know I'm not an authority on anything. I'm just saying it was a brilliant move. It worked, and it was perfect. So, in my mind. So, His Dark Materials has been a joy, and I'm really not sure what we're going to move on to next. Maybe I'll just let her watch the series a couple more times because it's only 3 seasons. So that's TV. And then the very last thing is vintage decks. And I'm going to take a minute to redo this setup because I want you to see my vintage decks. So my first vintage tarot deck I wanted to go over is the Sacred Rose Tarot, and this is by Johanna Sherman. I was reading in the guidebook about how she was inspired by stained glass windows, but she wanted everything in the imagery to be natural, like pre-Christian landscape, before they started invading and tearing things up. So there's a lot of trees and foliage, and of course all the shiny bits are supposed to be like glass, stained glass. I love how the faces, there's no real eyes painted in. It is some of my favorite artwork from these vintage decks. This was published in 1982. It might be one of the older vintage decks that I have. The actual age of the deck, not when it first came out. And she says in her guidebook that she doesn't think that anything should be out of our reach to understand the cards. She thinks that everybody should feel joy from the Sun card. Everyone should be able to learn from the mysteries of the High Priestess and be encouraged by the Hierophant. She wanted tarot to be accessible to everyone, which I think that was exactly the time when that became a more popular view for tarot. And everything is very deliberate. She chooses the colors, very purposeful. She designed the backs to be everything's very deliberate. As with anything that we really love in tarot, the intention matters, and I think that this is just one of those decks that it's so intentional. I mean, everything that she wanted done, she did very specifically for very specific reasons, and I respect that. I think that the deck has a lot of power to it because of that. It holds a lot of power. So this is the Sacred Rose from 1982 and by Johanna Sherman. Another vintage deck is the Herbal Tarot. So this is the Herbal Tarot by Michael Tierra and Candace Canton, and it is from 1988. I did get a lot of the decks from 1988, so my vintage collection does have a lot of 1988 in it. I like how so long ago we were already putting herbalism with tarot. It's like all the rage now, but it really started way back in the 80s. The hands reaching out from the sun. This one's holding an ankh. You know, it's funny, I like how these could be angels, but they could also be fairies. They're so tiny compared to the plants. They probably are fairies. No, she's pretty tiny next to the plant. I don't know. So this is the Herbal Tarot. Again, Michael Tierra and Candace Canton. Tarot of the Ages is the next one, and it is also 1988. I'm not as fond of the artwork on this, even though the artwork is really, really good, and it's also very true to this time period. Gosh, I'm trying to remember the name of that sci-fi artist. His work was so everywhere at the time. But anyway, if I remember, I'll put it over here. But this reminds me of his work, and it seems like that's kind of what everybody was going for at the time. So this is very maybe 80s iconic artwork. So Tarot of the Ages is illustrated by Mario Gorizio, and the instructions were written by Patrizia D'Agostino. Okay, I think I got that right. Okay, and none of these are in order either, so the trick about this deck is that every suit takes place in a different country. I believe the coins are in India. The wands, I think, are Africa, like Zimbabwe or Sudan or something. Right? Sudanese. Anyway. They're a tribe. The suit is... Oh, there's something wrong with me. Okay. So the thing about this deck, Tarot Through the Ages, each suit takes place in a different country. So the coins, I believe, are from India, and I could easily check this. The coins are in India. The swords are like Nordic. And they're ancient people, but they're very Nordic. And then the coins, I believe. And then the wands are African. I believe that they are tribes in Africa. And then the cups are Brazil or Central America. And to be honest with you, I think that the majors are Egyptian. Yep, that's going to tell me right there. So the majors are Egyptian. Okay, so I do really like this deck. It's not my favorite with the artwork. I will definitely use it, but I really like the Sacred Rose so much better. I even like the Herbal Tarot better than this one. Nothing straight up wrong with it. It's just, it pales in comparison to the other two. I feel like, you know how we talk about the artist or the creator has very strong intentions for the cards and the symbolism as it's shown in the artwork, and I feel like this was just kind of done. I mean, it's beautiful, but I think they just did it, and there wasn't quite so much love or care or intention in all of the artwork. And don't get me wrong, I'll go back and I'll say this again, I really like the artwork. There's just, it's just not as good.
it doesn't strike me as, I love this deck. It doesn't make me want to play with it all the time. It's going to probably be ignored a little bit more than the other two that I've shown you so far. The Merlin Tarot, R.J. Stewart and Miranda Gray. And this deck is so odd. Oh my gosh, it's so odd. And I love it, and I'll use it all the time. It goes through the majors just wacko nutty crazy. I may have taken them out of order, which is terrible. Hold on, let's see. Maybe they're just backwards. That would be good. Okay, no, they're not. Doggone it. Okay. So the deck starts with the moon. That's the backs. That's Merlin. Hello, Merlin. They start with the moon, and they progress in order from the moon. And I think what they were going for here is just, Merlin didn't start out his life as a fool. Heck no, Merlin started with all the wisdom of the moon. So he started with the moon, the fool. I haven't got there yet. I don't really know why the fool is 7. Maybe you have to, accept all parts of yourself, and there's a fool in there somewhere. And so we go on. And I love the artwork. And it's soft, and it's insane and cool. And I love it so much. I love it so much. Oh my gosh. So, will I use it all the time? Probably not. But I will enjoy it, and I will use it as much as I use any of my other decks. I will rotate it through the way I rotate everything through. So, let's get down to the end of the majors. And then the Ace of Cups starts. And cups are fish. This is a pip deck. Cups are fish. And we have a very nice keyword. Page, Knight, Queen, and King. Of course, birds are swords. I'm going through these quickly because I really don't expect you to be excited about the pips. I personally love the pips. I'm fascinated. I want to draw each one of them. They're just very cool. But I am a different person, so I don't expect you to love what I love. Dragons are wands. Surprising. Not. No, I really do. I love this deck. I probably will use it all the time. I'm seeing myself pull this out for the keywords for no other reason. I love that there's something there to just help initiate a thought process with these cards. And I have loved pip decks in the past. I've got lots of them. So this isn't an outlier in my collection. Well, it is, because it has such wacky majors, but it's still very, very cool, and yep, all about it. These deer antler bull things are pentacles. This is the earth suit. Oh, it calls them beasts. That's good. He's so jolly looking. I love him. And then we have these, and I don't understand them yet, so forgive me. But how cool is this? Anyway, yeah, kind of reminds me of the Tree of Life. We've got the paths. Anyway, so that's the Merlin deck. So excited. And what year was this from? I don't think I told you what year this is from. This is, I believe this was from the 90s, to be honest with you. I wonder where it tells me. I may have had to look it up on the internet, and then I didn't bring it over here with me to tell you guys, but I can flash it up on the screen because my Excel sheet would know. Okay, so I've got two more. This one is, please be correct, Carrie. Please remember that this is Swedish, or is it Danish? I can't remember. I think it's Danish, honestly. Don't expect me to say anybody's names or pronounce the deck itself. So, I bought this because I love the artwork. I love the artwork. Like, I've been drawing these drawings because I love it so much. I've not ever really been tempted by cutting off the edges so much as I am right now, but to be honest with you, I might. I don't know. I can tell what cards are what, not only because of the symbolism, but because they have the numbers, and everything just makes sense. I have several decks, and I really enjoy collecting foreign language decks. I have several decks that are Spanish, and I have one that's German, and then this one, I believe, is Danish. I'll have to check again. I would really like to have decks from all over the world. I think that would be so enriching. I would just love that. But look at these little creatures down here. Oh my gosh. They have a crown on the fish. And this one has a 13 on it. Oh, it's just amazing. It's all so cool. Flying fish, and the bat has it looks like a mouse. It's a very haggard looking horse too. She looks so pleasant. She looks so sweet. Thank goodness for Google Translate, right? It really does take my breath away. I was trying to think of a way to explain my feelings about this artwork. It's practically perfect in every way. It's just, I guess, my style, or I don't know, what I really like. Gosh, I really hope that's focused. I have such a hard time being able to tell. And the little rock people. The little froggies. I love this. Now this deck, I do believe I got on Facebook. There's a group, and I believe they're called Tim's Tarot Marketplace or something. I'll leave a link, and I try to follow it. I hate Facebook. It always gets on my nerves. But if I just go straight to that group, I can check out all the different decks. And, you know, people are looking for money. I mean, they want to get paid what they know their decks are worth. So don't expect a really good deal or anything. Sometimes they do have like a group of decks, and they'll put them all together, and you can they'll either give you the option to pick the ones that you want, or some people will just sell the whole group for a set amount, and that could be a really good deal depending on, you know, what you need out of the group. But I just like to look and see what people are getting rid of. And sometimes you come across things like this, and, you know, she was very sweet. She told me, you know, there's no English. Like, don't expect to understand anything. And it comes with a huge guidebook. Not that I could read it, but I was just like, no, I want it. I really love this. I want it. So, yep. This was a good deal for me, but it's really because it's not in a language that anybody could read in that group. So I was excited. And this is the one I was drawing last night, so that's why it's on the bottom. Oh my goodness, yes, this is a new favorite deck of mine. I'm totally crushing over it, and I know hardly anything about it. So, yay me. I'll look in my spreadsheet and I'll try to make sure I've got information like all around here. This one is from Italy, and there is a school in Milan, an art school in Milan, and one of the students, along with a professor, came up with this game to help students or creatives get over their creativity block. So the interesting thing about this deck is it's not a tarot, but it is totally set up like a tarot. There's majors and there's minors and there's suits, but each card tells a story. And when I say it tells a story, I mean, I'm gonna read you one because it's weird and crazy, and I can see how this works, but I'm just saying, this is a game more than it is a tarot. And I don't care. I was very happy to have it regardless. So let's just say you got the we'll just say it's the Four of Wands, because I don't know. It says, to climb the staircase to the top of the world, he devotes his entire life to that enterprise and proceeds one step after another without ever giving up on a single step. When he reaches the top, he is old, perfect, and tired. Too tired to go back down the long staircase, so he sits on the last step and stays there, while his old eyes overlook everything and everyone. Now, the moral of the story is, don't get lost. Keep control. So, what you would do is you would pull a card, or you would find a card that speaks to you, and you would read about it and use that description in the book as a way to be inspired to do some sort of artwork. So it's a game, and I thought it was really cool, and I think I got it for like $5, so I was like, okay, it's mine now. So, yes. Haven't decided how much I love it, but I do think I love it. Like, what's not to love? This is so cool. Okay, so the suits, that's what I was going to tell you about. So the Roman numerals are the major arcana. The suits are 100, 200, 200, 300, and 400. So you don't have like earth, water, wands. Yeah, earth, water, fire, and air. I don't know where my brain went with that. Anyway, you don't have those kind of suits. You just have 100s, 200s, 300s, and 400s. So, but it is set up just like a tarot. It's just completely and totally different, other than that. And I think it's awesome. But yeah, there are some cards when you look at it, you're just like, oh, I'm so drawn to that card. And, you know, and that's the intention, is you're supposed to look at a card and you use it to, you know, inspire yourself. The stories are really weird though, but like that one, that was really good. I haven't read all of the, of course I haven't read all of the entries, but I do believe that there are some that may have degrading stories, but we'll just see. I'll figure that all out as time goes on. I'm not going to worry too bad about it. I think, you know, it's very possible the cards could just speak to us as it is, you know. So that is the Intuiti. And it's not a tarot, it's a game, creative cards. So it goes in a different category, but very vintage. Did I say when it was made? I don't believe I did. 2013. It's one of my newer ones.
Okay, guys, that was my 5 things that I'm loving right now, and I hope that you have a great week, and I hope that you maybe actually take part in this, because you can love any 5 things. You don't have to love tarot, or you don't have to love journaling. You can just share, you know, what you guys have been up to. So I hope to see your contributions, and I will see you again next time. Bye.